Commissioner O'Donnell, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. This hearing is called to order. Today is Tuesday, March 7, 2023, and the time is 1:01 p.m. This is the time and place set for the second public hearing on proposed new rule and the repeal of ARM 38.2.2401, ARM 38.2.2403, 38.2.2404, 38.2.2405, and 38.2.2406 regarding formal intervention and commission contested cases. I am James Brown, President of the Montana Public Service Commission, and I will preside over this hearing of the commission. I am joined this afternoon by Commissioner Tony O'Donnell and Commissioner Dr. Annie Bukacek. Montana law requires the presiding officer at a rulemaking hearing to read the following notice. Notice of functions of Administrative Rule Review Committee. Administrative Rule Review is a function of interim committees and the Environmental Quality Council, EQC. These interim committees and the EQC have administrative rule review, program evaluation, and monitoring functions for the following executive branch agencies and the entities attached to agencies for administrative purposes. The Economic Affairs Interim Committee, covering the Department of Agriculture, Department of Commerce, Department of Labor and Industry, Department of Livestock, Office of State Auditor, Insurance Commissioner, and Office of Economic Development. The Education and Local Government Interim Committee, which includes the State Board of Education, the Board of Public Education, the Board of Regents of Higher Education, and the Office of Public Instruction. Children, Family, Health, and Human Services Interim Committee, which oversees the Department of Public Health and Human Services. The Law and Justice Interim Committee, which oversees Department of Corrections and Department of Justice. The Energy and Telecommunications Interim Committee, which oversees the Department of Public Service Regulation. The Revenue and Transportation Interim Committee, overseeing Department of Revenue and Department of Transportation. State Administration and Veterans Affairs Interim Committee, overseeing the Department of Administration, Department of Military Affairs, and Office of Secretary of State. Environmental Quality Council, overseeing Department of Environmental Quality, Department of Fish and Wildlife, and Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. Water Policy Interim Committee, which oversees the Department of Environmental Quality, Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. These interim committees and the EQC have the authority to make recommendations to an agency regarding the adoption, amendment, or repeal of a rule, or to request that the agency prepare a statement of the estimated economic impact of a proposal. They also may poll the members of the legislature to determine if a proposed rule is consistent with the intent of the legislature, or during the legislative session, introduce a bill repealing a rule or directing an agency to adopt or amend a rule, or a joint resolution recommending that an agency adopt, amend, or repeal a rule. The interim committees and the EQC welcome comments and invite members of the public to appear before them or to send written statements in order to bring to their attention any difficulties with existing or proposed rules. Mailing address for doing the same is P.O. Box 201706, Helena, Montana 59620-1706. Now, with that perfunctory statement being made, we will now move to the proceeding. The notice of public hearing for this hearing was published on February 10, 2023 in the Montana Administrative Register as MAR notice number 38-2-258. Notice of proposed adoption or repeal regarding formal intervention and commission contested cases was published on December 9, 2022. It is also referenced in MAR notice number 38-2-258. A copy of these notices can be found on the Secretary of State's website at http://sosmontana.gov/ARM/register. I will take a moment now to go over the notice of the proposed adoption or repeal. And the notice the commission proposes to modernize and simplify its rules concerning formal intervention and commission contested cases. Montana law requires the commission to periodically review its administrative rules. Commission's intervention rules have not been updated since the 1970s. Commission's proposed new intervention rule, which can be found in paragraph 3 of the notice, simplifies the intervention process by allowing uncontested interventions to be, quote, deemed approved without further commission action. New rule also recognizes the special status of the Montana Consumer Council, also known as the MCC, and streamlines MCC's intervention. Finally, the rule recognizes the commission's authority to impose appropriate conditions upon an intervener's participation when necessary to avoid delay, repetition of the issues, or prejudice to other parties, or upon a finding of good cause. Montana law sets short deadlines for commission proceedings, and our ability to satisfy those deadlines may be jeopardized by unnecessary delay or unreasonable duplication of the issues. As indicated in the proposed new rule, the imposition of any conditions will only be done after notice and reasonable opportunity to be heard. Paragraph 4 of the notice identifies each of the commission's existing rules that would be replaced by the new rule. Paragraph 5 indicates that interested persons may present their data, views, or arguments either orally or in writing at this hearing or after this hearing to the commission. This paragraph also includes deadlines for comments, which I will touch on in a few short moments. Paragraph 6 notes that the Montana Consumer Council is available to represent the interests of the consuming public. Paragraph 7 describes the process for joining the commission's interested persons list for administrative rulemaking. Paragraph 8 states that the department has determined the proposed rulemaking will not significantly and directly impact small businesses. Paragraph 9 directs the reader to the Secretary of State's website to view the proposed notice. Paragraph 10 concludes that the bill sponsor contact requirements of state law do not apply to this particular rulemaking. Paragraph 11 notes that a commissioner or a duly appointed presiding officer will preside over the hearing. I am doing so as a commissioner. Purpose of this hearing is to receive public comment regarding the proposed rule changes. In addition to this hearing, written comments regarding the proposed rule changes may be submitted to the commission. All written comments must be submitted to the commission no later than 5 p.m. on March 10th, 2023. Again, all written comments must be submitted to the commission by 5 p.m. on March 10th, 2023. Following the close of the public comment period, the commission will summarize and respond to any comments received. Summarized comments and the commission's responses will be published in the Montana Administrative Register as part of the rulemaking process. So with that said, this would be the time to make public comment or to weigh in on the proposed rulemaking. Are there any proponents of the proposed rule in the commission hearing room? Seeing none, are there any proponents of the proposed rule online? I would note for the record at this point that Vice President Jennifer Fielder has also joined us this rulemaking, so let the record reflect that.
Thank you, Mr. President. That was at 1:03 p.m. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't see you. There are no proponents of the proposed rule online, I understand. All right, are there any opponents of the proposed rule in the hearing room? Seeing none, are there any opponents of the proposed rule online? Seeing none. Is there anyone who would like to comment on the proposed rule in the room? Seeing nobody, is there anybody who would like to comment on the proposed rule online? Seeing none. I would note then that the commission maintains a list of interested persons and the subjects in which each person on the list is interested. Within 3 days of any rulemaking notice being published, all interested persons are notified about the rulemaking activity. If anyone is interested in being placed on the interested persons list, please use the meeting sign-in sheet, which would be in the reception area, to indicate your wish to be included as an interested person. I will announce one more time. Is there any person in the room that would like to comment on this proposed rulemaking? Seeing nobody, is there anybody online who would like to comment on this proposed rulemaking? Seeing no one. Okay, the time is now 1:11 p.m. I will now close this rulemaking public hearing. I would note for the record that pursuant to Montana Code annotated section 2-3-103, every commission meeting must include an opportunity for public comment on any public matter that is not on the agenda but is within the committee's jurisdiction. Is there any public comment on matters not on today's agenda, but that was be within the commission's jurisdiction? Is there anybody in the room? Seeing nobody. Is there anybody online? Seeing no one. Seeing no public comment today, I will adjourn today's meeting.